Do you remember Time Splitters? Yes, you do. Probably. So I'm not going to do the huge recap thing here. Here's the important bit. Time Splitters was made by these people and was really good and full of content. Then those people made Haze, and it's okay, I guess? So you start the game and you see this. That's good. It's always a great sign when the title screen looks like a thrown together fan-made wallpaper viewed through a sheet of ice. I'm beginning to think they intentionally made the menus shoddy to try and artificially make the game look okay. It doesn't. Even leaving aside the art direction for a second, the game is rife with texture pop-in, frame rate drops, and everything looks so damn blurry. I guess it's probably for performance issues, but the game still runs like shit. And all this would maybe be forgivable, but the promotional screenshots, hell, even the ones we got on the back of the box look so crisp and nice. It's not a small change, they're worlds apart from what we got, and it's not okay. This game is like seeing a McDonald's advert, and there's this burger that just looks scrum-diddly-umptious. It looks good enough to eat straight out of the screen. It looks so good you just have to have it. So you stop whatever you were doing, get in your car, no scratch that, you don't have a car, so you trek to McDonald's even though it's cold out and your legs ache a bit, walk up to the cashier, proudly declare your wish for a Big Mac, but they point out that they're serving someone else right now in a tone which heavily implies you should have noticed the rather large queue, so you join the back of the queue to wait. You don't mind waiting, because you know at the end of it all you'll be blessed with that juicy, delicious burger. You order again, but you splutter your words because you're salivating too hard. It doesn't matter, they've worked here long enough to know what that means. They say it'll be a couple of minutes, more waiting, but then it comes. You've been served a cardboard box, and you know that inside is your prize. You sit down, close your eyes, think of the burger. You open the box, and inside, rather than the beautiful, succulent, delicious burger from the ad, you've been served up Donald Trump, blended into a thick paste, and served between two stale Rivita. That's what playing this game for the first time feels like. So the game finally starts up, and to its credit, it sets up its world very well, in the sense that every single person is an arsehole, and that's how it will continue for the rest of the game. When this game was being marketed, one of its main selling points was that you would switch sides and go from fighting in a high-tech army to against a high-tech army using guerrilla tactics. I remember thinking it was a shame that it spoiled the major plot point, but honestly, playing this, if they hadn't done that, nobody would make it through to the rebel section. They do their absolute best to make sure that you hate every mantel, that's the name of the army dudes, soldier. They don't want complex storylines here. You have to know they're the baddest of the bad guys by the time you're switching. At least, I hope that's what they were doing, because if we're supposed to like these guys, they should have exclusively marketed this game to the guys over at the Red Pill. Just listen to some of this.
I am so ready to liberate some natives!
Hell yeah! Boosh!
Why doesn't the general tell that skin coat guy to go suck some balls?
He doesn't need to. The general sent us here. That's his message.
But I'd still love to hear him say it. Go suck some balls, skin coat. Yeah!
Yeah, wait till we get our hands on him. We'll fucking show him what our fucking people think about skinning people and fucking eating people. Yeah! Kidnap that fucked up asshole! I don't want his fucking coat on me!
Yeah, careful he doesn't get Stockholm Syndrome, Pesci.
You calling me a fag?
Don't call him a fag, sir!
Yeah! You're an ape. A monkey. Doing whatever those chemicals tell you to do. And once you accept that, you can take control of yourself instead.
It's not even slightly convincing that you're the good guys, and you'll be so ready to leave Mantel as soon as you start. But not in a good way. More in the way that you're praying that the Rebel section will be better than this crap. There's a couple of sections on this dropship, and while not really adding much, they managed to showcase some of the game's biggest flaws. For instance, certain events only trigger when you're in a certain area, and it makes the game super awkward at times. Here my team is silently waiting for me, and here a revolutionary leader is silently being watched by a large attentive audience, all seemingly waiting for me but not daring to break formation to look for me. It's okay, guys. You can start without me if you want. Even worse, sometimes the opposite happens. This guy looks like he's waiting around for me, but he isn't. Nothing happens. This is the game's puzzle element, it seems, where you have to work out that the guy actually waiting to talk to you isn't the solution, and just running up to 3 other different guys is. Genius. The game's tone is all over the place, never knowing whether it's going to be a serious thing or a bit of a laugh, though I say a bit of a laugh very tenuously. If a laugh is the size of the earth, then the bit of that this game represents is the size of a small child's tear as they open Haze on Christmas morning. Some of it is just so weird that I'm not even sure whether it's meant to be a joke or not.
We called this one Watch Trap.
They say that because I'm skinny, see?
Like a watch strap, sir.
See, I honestly can't tell whether they were supposed to change his body and didn't bother, whether they're supposed to remove the dialogue and forgot, or whether the joke is that he's the same size as everyone else. Is that a joke? Just saying things are things that they aren't? This is an apple. This game's script contains good writing. This is an apple. So you go down to this jungle with your squad and you get your first taste of being a drug-addled super soldier. By pressing L2 you can administer nectar to yourself, turning you into the ultimate badass. What this basically means is that enemies glow. Fucking epic. It's helpful for if you're playing a game where all the backgrounds and enemies are brown, or if you're scared of the dark and happen to have a hostage lying around. There's a couple of other differences, but they're minimal, and whilst nectar is supposed to be in limited supply, it recharges so quickly, and enemy groups can be so far away, that it was never a problem for me. I essentially played through the whole mantle section, never wanting for nectar. This section is also where you first get to grips with the combat. It's okay actually. None of the guns have proper recoil of any kind, but the game also doesn't seem to have any auto-aim, so I can understand why they do it this way. It's nothing amazing, and you'll never really feel the need to try different weapons out, but it's passable. Well done you, game. However, people sometimes react in weird ways to being shot, and death animations can take too long to play out, meaning it's unclear that they've been killed and you waste time and ammo on them. You get to this downed mantle dropship and find this guy doing his best fish impression. Once you're tired of that, you can go out and realise that actually the game wants you to meet up with your squad first before you venture, alone again, into the dropship. Silly me. Now the fishman has something to say, and I think you'll agree that it's as heartfelt as it is dramatic.
Hey.
I'm here.
Hey. Hey.
I'm here. Are you hurt?
Look at me. Can you see me?
Yeah, I see you.
Do you know what I used to do before I joined up?
Don't worry about that. You can tell me later.
I was a boxer. Semi-pro.
Whoa. He used to be a boxer, guys. I really connected to him and feel sorry to see him go. What a good scene that felt very natural and not just included because they needed a death scene to further the plot. So anyway, you tell your squad about what happened and then you say this dumb shit.
I said, did you see the pilot? He looked healthy.
Did he? He was mangled and could barely speak. And all he was saying was that he was a boxer? Was that it? Are boxers renowned for their perfect physical health? Oh my god, are you okay? Oh, my mistake, he's fine. He's fine, guys, he used to be a boxer. Later on, or if you look at the screen in the helicopter straight after for some reason, even though that makes no sense, you find out that nectar is stopping you from seeing the horrors of war, and so the pilot was actually probably incredibly bloody and burned. So your character just says that stupid line for some kind of clunky foreshadowing. Especially in video games, not being bloodied up whilst dying can be standard fare. This would honestly have worked better had we just been shown later, because it just seems so out of place, and this game does subtle in exactly the same way that hand grenades do makeovers. So you have to escape the quarry bowl. There's absolutely no enemies there, but there are some quite steep hills, so it probably is in your best interest to leave. Yep. This is where you get your first taste of the driving in Haze. It's awful. The steering is done in such a way that it starts off unresponsive, then jumps to way too responsive. It's like walking on a slight hill, then being quickly and violently dragged to hell. Only worse. Oh, is that a collectible? Okay. So anyway, you get to this rebel compound where Skincoat, the rebel leader, is hiding. It does this stupid thing where every now and then they take away your gun from the screen, but don't take away your control. Now Haze isn't the only game to do this, but in every case it's needless and only serves to ensure there is absolutely no tension. I guess it's so I can pay more attention to the dialogue, safe in the knowledge that this is not a combat section, but in Haze it means I pay absolutely no attention to the dialogue, safe in the knowledge that this is not a combat section. This section is where you really start to notice that everything is brown and horrible, and it's such a missed opportunity. We're shown that nectar hides the horrors of war, with even corpses disappearing in front of Mantle soldiers' eyes. The change from Mantle to Rebel would have been a hell of a lot stronger did the world look futuristic and sleek and sexy for the Mantle part of the campaign, only for us to realise that it was an illusion, that the world is actually dirty and ugly and not all what we'd been led to believe. It doesn't happen though, It's just one of the reasons why the two factions feel incredibly similar. So you find Skincoat and he asks,
Do you know what an army's most powerful weapon is?
and you, being the bastion of wisdom that you are, answer,
Bullets.
bullets. That famous weapon. Good answer, mate. He was going to tell you.
Confidence.
Anyway, so it was a bit of a trick, but you still managed to, whilst taking the question seriously, answer with a weapon's ammunition rather than a weapon itself. Well done. Your friends show up and they plan on cutting off Skincoat's hands. Fully convinced by Skincoat, presumably because of his superior weapon knowledge, you do the rational thing and tell your mates to stop, threatening to turn them into your superiors. Sorry, I misspoke. What you actually do is immediately grab your pistol and aim it at your friends in the currently airborne dropship, causing it to crash land, somehow killing nobody. You follow a rebel through the jungle in a chase sequence which manages to be both tedious, boring and short, no mean feat. Mantle soldiers appear right in front of you and consistently fail to shoot anywhere near you. You awake to find Skincoat by your bedside. He tells you not to talk, probably because you're too weak, and then proceeds to give you a full tour of the base, all the while engaged in back and forth conversation with you. I'm not sure if that's reverse psychology or just bad writing. Well, I mean I could take a pretty good guess. I genuinely think that for a large part of this game's development they planned to have a silent protagonist, but then realised how weird it felt and shoehorned in some dialogue for you. That's why they'd make an excuse for him to say nothing, but then forgot that they actually gave him lines. Even in the quote-unquote finished product, you don't say much, but by having lines at all it makes some of your silences so awkward. Like when you go for your gun before speaking in the dropship, or this sequence, where after having expressed sympathy for the Mantel soldiers who were manipulated by Nectar, you silently watch as not one, but two of them shoot themselves in the head, only then opting to say,
I'm sorry.
as if there was nothing else you could have done. I mean, come on, dude. Everyone knows the custom for suicide scenes is to shout no or don't as they raise the gun, only for them to kill themselves anyway. Your way is creepy. You should work on that. Anyway, Skincoat awkwardly mentions God in a way that seems relevant but is never fully explained, and you blame the media for the fact you never questioned your quest to slaughter innocent people. Skincoat accepts this reasoning, and so it's never brought up again. Besides, you clearly just go along with whoever is closest to you at any given time, so for now you're an asset. Then your old Mantle friends show up, two of whom you kill and manage to let out the same kind of remorse as if you just dropped a biscuit on a particularly dusty floor. With that cleared up, you're free to go on a mission with the rebels, who you were told do not trust you, but who never expressed this in any way whatsoever. Unfortunately, there's a blockade in your way, so Skincoat tells you,
Junkies are in for some
There is
real
a tree
trouble!
next to the barricade. Shoot it down so it crashes the wall.
unfortunately.
There are no trees.
Ah, damn. If only there was a tree around, this whole thing could be avoided. Oh well, we better think of something else. Like all great games, Haze takes this opportunity 4 hours into the game to lock you out of the controls and force you into the open for a tutorial on how grenades work. I often start single player campaigns at mission 7, so this was a great and useful addition. Your teammates can be downed, but it doesn't matter because a friendly pat on the back always perks them up.
Relax, you're okay.
Oh, okay. He must be a boxer. To drill home that the two factions aren't all that different, you knock a metal freight ship door out of its frame like the weak rebel you are and continue onwards. In the next area you'll find a Mantle soldier who shows you that the ship containers are full of Mantel bodies. He explains that Nectar is killing them and that you rigged your Nectar suit to administer less Nectar than normal so that you can see the true horrors of war. This dialogue is honestly alright. I might even say good. I'm not sure why this guy would stay in Mantel, but this section is pretty well written. I wish they'd put as much effort in elsewhere. I'm reminded of this poor writing as immediately succeeding this, my rebel friend shouts,
There will be no mercy for Mantel.
making sure I'm aware that the rebels are also bloodthirsty crazies and the whole Nectar thing is really just a side issue to how nuts everyone is. Okay, so about Nectar, and about free will, this game has no idea what it's trying to say. First off, your Mantle buddy thinks he's above instinct, that that's what animals do, and that Nectar helped him escape that. However, Nectar actually controls people and makes them more like animals. Despite this, you actively talk about having changed your mind and that you weren't thinking properly, taking control of your life after you were coerced by, not Nectar, but the media. Okay, so now you believe that Nectar controls people, but also that you actively chose not to be controlled, even though you had a lower dose of Nectar than anyone else. The current Mantle soldiers, who you believe had no choice, you see no problem with killing or even watching kill themselves. Okay, I think I've got it. That makes perfect sense, actually. What? You do some more rebel stuff, I guess? It's basically the same as playing Mantle. Their weapons usually have Mantle counterparts, and even if they didn't, ammo can be scarce, so it's easier just to take a Mantle weapon and replenish your supply from every subsequent soldier. As a Mantle soldier, you can use Nectar to make enemies glow for you, so to combat losing this as a rebel, every single enemy wears fluorescent yellow armor by default. Genius. Oh, and you gain the ability to play dead. You press L2 and no Mantle soldiers can see you because bodies disappear for them. How exactly does that work if it's not based on sensing life? If you went home and your wife was sleeping, would you just have to assume she was dead as you walk in on an empty bed? Would she disappear as you walked into the room, or would it somehow know to make her invisible before you came? It doesn't matter, it's stupid, it's a stupid idea and a worse mechanic where L2 just becomes the get out of jail free card. There's an awful turret section with a helicopter minigun that they forgot to remove the melee function from, some more boring rebel stuff, and then a tank drives in a circle for a while as you shoot it until it explodes. We're near the end now, and Skincoat's final plan is to destroy the Mantle Nectar facility, and then destroy Mantle's roaming base. You have to escort the rocket, making sure to stay close enough so that it moves, but far enough away that it doesn't run you over and kill you, because the dude driving doesn't know how to follow this road without you, but apparently also gets impatient very easily. You kill some dudes, run around some huge empty spaces looking for more dudes, and eventually make it across the bridge, and enter another driving section. Oh yes, son! If there's one thing that is never not fun, it's smashing through... The terrible driving section is cut short by a terrible mine clearing section. I honestly can't tell whether the mines explode via proximity or bullets because the animation takes so damn long. If you accidentally shoot your teammate, your entire squad turns on you, even teleporting to you just to attack the vehicle you're in. You know you're sat in this too, right? But eventually you make it to the Nectar base and destroy it, messing with the administration of Nectar for all Mantle soldiers. I don't know why it messes with their administration when it's clearly shown each soldier has control over it, but it does. A crowd of people stare aimlessly into the abyss and wait. And then you show up and the speech can begin. You're now not sure about killing Mantle because without Nectar they won't harm anyone, but you're easily convinced to do so, and Mantle soldiers, at least some of them, still try and kill you anyway?
If we kill tonight, what will we be in the morning?
So now they do have free will, it's still fine to kill them, even if they're not killing you, but only if you proceed it with an ominous rhetorical question. You're not even a good guy, you just follow whoever you're with. Skincoat then starts talking about animal instincts as well, so that can be added to the chart somewhere, but oh god, it's getting confusing. So you're attacking this base, and every single time you complete a sub-objective, the game fades to black and teleports you to the other side. It does this multiple times. This game does a good job of showing the fear you might feel in the situation, as your character repeatedly faints during the assault, luckily waking up just in time to push forward every time. You shoot some guys or whatever, and then you get to the final boss, your old Mantle buddy. As he isn't a boxer, he goes down incredibly easy and you beat the game. Then he does this weird throwback.
Please. Don't tell my mom.
Why would I tell your mum? I don't know your mum. Plus, as it's heavily implied all of the media is being controlled for propaganda, you'll probably be hailed as a hero, which I can't infect in any way. But then you agree solemnly, as if you were just about to ring her up and let her know her son's a twat.
Keep the pressure up!
Okay.
Take no prisoners!
Emotional. You regroup with Skincoat, who tells you that Mantle were using Nectar wrong and that the rebels will use it better. The end. What? Okay. So, in this game, people think that they are above instinct and that Nectar can help. However, it is shown that not only is Nectar easily exploitable, it actually kills people, controls them, and makes them more like animals. You alone can choose to break out of this, and due to your special snowflake status, can kill former friends without remorse, so long as you remember your ominous question. So now, your new army, to avoid instinct, will use Nectar regardless of knowing that it has almost no upsides. You do not protest this and just let it happen, showing yourself to have no strong beliefs and no free will, going along with whoever you shared your last conversation with. Presumably the sequel would have seen nations locked in a war to create the loudest speakers from which to tell our super soldier hero what to do as he switched sides like an air hockey puck, all the while exploring his newfound dominatrix fetish. Anyway, the story is garbage. Online doesn't work anymore, but I do remember playing the demo for Haze. In fact, it's what put me off buying at the time. If you shoot a teammate in their Nectar administrator, they overdose, causing them to go crazy and shoot everyone in sight, even their teammates. That meant you could shoot your friends, cause them to team kill, and not be punished for it. It was one of the worst designed co-op features I've ever seen, but also my favourite co-op feature when I was 13, so take from that what you will. Overall, the game is okay. It's not great, it's not even good, but it's not bad either, it's just there, and it's boring. As is the custom in games journalism, I will leave you with an elbow-based analogy. I would rather somebody cut off the skin from my elbows, use Sharpie to crudely draw a picture of the Queen on them, and use these artworks as makeshift stamps to send me a package than play this game, if only for the anticipation of what might be inside. As it stands, Haze offers no frills and no surprises. take your hand and rub the skin of your elbow. It's okay, I'll wait. No, really, do it. Does that feel bad? No. Does that feel good? Not really. It's just a mild sensation that's kind of there, right? And that's what Haze is. It's the well-meaning elbow massage of video games.
Is there a medal for most badass gangsta? Cause that's me.